The smartest man in history made a beginner's mistake, and it cost him everything. Sir Isaac Newton was an extremely intelligent person and is undoubtedly one of the smartest men in history. He developed a theory of gravity, created calculus, and developed a new way of seeing the universe. In 1720, Newton made a financial mistake that resulted in him losing £20,000, or approximately $4 million in today's dollars, due to a speculative bubble in the stock market. If someone as brilliant as Isaac Newton can lose everything by making one poor decision, how will the rest of us survive? This is the background to the South Sea Bubble. In 1711, the British government embarked on the establishment of the South Sea Company due to the tremendous amounts of debt accumulated from years of war. The original plan for the South Sea Company was to buy the government's debt, with the trade with the Spanish colonies, which included trade in precious metals such as gold, among other things, as the main incentive to investors to buy the company's stock. However, there was a major flaw in this concept. At that time, the British were at war with Spain, and thus trade between the two nations had been cut off, meaning there was no current trade happening. However, despite the reality of the situation, the story surrounding the South Sea Company became paramount in the eyes of investors, driving up the price of the South Sea Company's shares. Isaac Newton invested in a company before its price increased dramatically. He sold this investment when it reached its peak price and profited £7,000, which is an incredible gain from his initial investment. However, as time went on, the company continued to rise in price, and all of his friends were becoming wealthy from the stock. People with far less intelligence than Newton were making money faster than he was. People from all walks of life were joining in on this stock frenzy. We all have heard of the term FOMO, and it was no different in 1720 than it is today. The sense of urgency and need to get involved with the stock market was evident in 1720. At some point, Newton couldn't stand by watching everyone around him make money, so he made a decision to get back into the market. He did this with everything he owned, and unfortunately, it was at the highest point in price. He put in a tremendous amount of effort, not because it was logical or had any basis for success, but because he didn't want to miss the opportunity to buy. Soon after his purchase, the stock price fell. The leadership of the company sold all their shares without notifying Newton, resulting in panic. The stock moved from a valuation of $30 to zero. Newton was fully invested at the time and lost everything. He stated that he was capable of predicting the trajectory of celestial objects, but did not understand the behavior of people. From this experience, we can learn that having intelligence does not translate into financial responsibility. When you see a stock price rising quickly and everyone seems to be making money from it, your mind will naturally think buy. However, this is likely the moment that you should avoid investing at all costs. History will not repeat itself, but there are often times in which we can see very similar situations happening within history. Don't fall into Isaac's trap of being too influenced by your previous experiences. Instead, stay bored and rational. If you liked looking back through time at financial history, like and subscribe. Until next time.